Hello, welcome, Kletus Rays, Roadside Service. We're rolling. Let me just tell you what happened. So my headset, I haven't charged it in a while. It stays charged for a long time, but I haven't charged it in a while. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my Bluetooth deal because it charges things really, really quickly, actually. So I plug it in, and then I plug in my headset. I have the Blue Parrot. I don't know if you know about those, but if it's on and you plug it in, it turns off. But if it's off and you plug it in, then turn it on, then you can talk and charge at the same time. Only problem is when you hit a fucking bump and it messes with the Bluetooth deal, it will then stop recording altogether, even though it shows that it's got the little icon saying that you're recording still, but that just means the app has been opened. And yeah, so I recorded about 13 minutes of an hour and some podcast because around 13 minutes I hit a bump or something. I don't know. But it's fucking bullshit. I'll tell you that right now because I just recorded an episode and it's all gone, which is fine. Whatever. I'm on my road again. I'm driving again. This is now 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I already said a bunch of shit, and now it's like I'm gonna be repeating myself to myself, but that's okay. This morning, all I had to do was drive a tanker up to St. Joe, grab a load of wastewater, and then turn around and drive back. I wake up this morning, and get up and get going, and I think this is why I can't be a good comedian because I am good the first time. The first time works. So like if you're a comedian and you have jokes, right? You like write down jokes. That's not just to write it down to say it one time. That's wrote down to say it night after night after night after show after show after show. Like you say the same shit over and over and over and over again. And that's how like people perfect their specials or whatever. And I'm just not good at telling, well, maybe it's just like the immediate shit that happened today. But I'm not good at fucking saying shit twice. It's annoying is what it is to myself. I know I'm annoying, but guess what annoys me? Myself. And I'm annoyed that I recorded a whole delicious podcast. It was going to be amazing. And it's all gone. I went ahead and deleted the 13 minutes because I started to listen to it. I was like, maybe I can pick up from where I left. No. Just start it over. Fuck. So I'll try. I'll give you guys a shot. I showed up to work. Didn't have my coffee cup. That was a funny thing I said. Laugh, laugh, everybody laugh. And then I got coffee and then paperwork, and then I drove. I got my truck, and then the truck, it was the wrong truck, but I got the right truck, and then the trailer was the trailer, and the trailer didn't work very well, but it worked well now, and fuck, man. You guys missed out, okay? You missed out on the good shit. So, whatever. Driving now with a full load. I have a fucking flat tire. My engine coolant keeps going off. That was a funny thing. Maybe it'll be funny again this time. Because my engine coolant it's slightly low. Just enough to trigger the thing and then untrigger the thing. Trigger and untrigger. Untrigger, trigger, untrigger. It's annoying. I'm going to be driving. You're going to hear it. It's going to ding, dong. I don't know. Make fucking noises. It's just a fucking merry-go-round over here driving down the fucking highway. And then I noticed as I was getting loaded, one of my drive tires was fucking flat. I was like, and I must have picked something up on the way out here. I did a thorough pre-trip. I noticed that I had a flat tire and coolant when I left the shop. Maybe I didn't do such a thorough pre-trip. Uh, most of the time, when I do a pre-trip, everything is fucking good. And the one time you don't specifically check every single fucking thing, shit's fucking wrong. So yeah, but I don't. The tire, I think I picked something up because it was not. It was obviously flat when I was getting loaded. I must have picked something up on my way down. I stopped off at the truck stop right now. I just got done getting loaded, and I noticed that there was you could hear the air escaping the tire, and it was at completely 0 psi. So I aired it up to 90, and I hit the fucking road. I think we're gonna be okay. I got to get to the landfill. I got to get offloaded, and then I'll be empty. And then I'm taking like city streets back to our shop, and then I'll say, "Yo, tire fucked. Please fix." To the mechanic peoples. Last night there was a hurricane. I watched the hurricane. I fell asleep on the couch. My son woke me up at 3 a.m. Also, before all that, my buddy came over and we rewired up my truck, and I talked a lot about my truck. Should I talk about the same shit I already talked about, or new shit? No. Fuck. Fucking recording's fucked up, dude. That really messed with me. It was a 10-wire fuse box. We brought it down to a 6-wire fuse box. I got into fucking all the detail about that. I don't want to do it again. It's too early to do it again. Maybe tomorrow. But I'm not going to record a podcast tomorrow. The kids are staying at my mom's house. Okay, listen, I'm angry. You guys don't understand why I'm angry. You guys just turn on the podcast. You want to listen to something. You want to get your mind off of your day. And you're like, this guy's fucking angry for no reason. Like, I've already said all this shit, and I went, and it was a good podcast. I was actually like, damn, this is a good one. I like this. I got into a nice little rant. I don't even remember what the rant was about now. Probably some fucking traffic on the highway. Now I'm ranting about my rant that I fucking recorded earlier, and now I'm ranting about that. I got tea last night, I can't stop with the fucking sugar water. I smelled like pig goo. I was gonna name this episode "The Sand," and I got into a big old fucking. That's what I was ranting about. Was the fucking lady at? All right, I could try this. I could try that one. Get off of work yesterday at a decent time, 3:30, earliest I've been off all week. Wonderful. I'm gonna drive home. I need to stop and I need to get gas, and I want to get some tea. I'm sorry. I tried to get off the sugar. I want to be off the sugar. I don't want to get off the sugar. It's delicious. The fucking sugary tea is so goddamn good. It's actually not super duper sweet, but they don't give you the fucking nutrition facts. I mean, I'm sure they are online somewhere, so I might need to look that up. I don't know how much sugar is in this tea. It's slightly sweetened. I'll say that. It's not like my grandma's tea where she just dumps half a bag of sugar in there. It's actually like tastefully sweet. Not overly sweet. Quick Trip and McDonald's sweet tea. Brother, that is first ingredient, sugar. Second ingredient, water. Third ingredient, tea and chemicals. That's so much sugar in there. I'm just kidding. The first ingredient's always water, because that's what it's made of. But the second ingredient is sugar. There's way more sugar than there is tea in there. I'll tell you that. And even in Quick Trip, if I want to get a tea, because they have different types of teas and stuff, I'm not really a big fan of them though. This almond one, I'm a fan of. I love it. So I go get tea, and then so I go inside, because I've only been inside the tea store one time. The other times I've been in the drive-thru. I downloaded the app. I had the free Big Gulp open, because as soon as you download the app, you get a free Big Gulp. They know you're coming back. They're going to hook you in. They're going to give you a free drink to start. So download the HTO app, and then go to rewards, and then redeem, and then there's a big gulp for free in there. You had to look for it, but I downloaded it on my way. I get there, I walk inside, I'm like, I do love the almond. I did try a bunch of these teas, but let me just try them again. Maybe something will be different about them this time. Maybe I will want to try a different flavor, because I like to be a variety man. And I go through and I try all the different little flavors with the little fucking cup, and I'm over there just trying them all. And I'm like, the only one I didn't try was the almond because I know what it tastes like. So then I grab a cup and I'm just looking. I grab the big gold cup and I'm like, which one should I get? Almond! I knew I was going to get a gallon of almond also. So I was like, maybe I'll try a big gulp of a different flavor, but I'll definitely get the gallon of almond because the almond is so fucking good. No, I got all almond. It was fucking delicious. So I go up to the cash register, and I have my phone with the screen on the free redeemable. I have my wallet set out with my credit card slid up, ready to pay. And my drink is sitting there, and the guy's like, "Is this all for you?" And I would like a gallon of almond, good sir. Yeah, because I feel like I'm on the same wavelength as these people. I love your product so much that you're my friend, even though I don't even know your name. It's on a tag there. I didn't read it. Don't even know your name. I could know your name, but I don't. He's like, there's not a gallon of almond out there already? I'm like, out where? And I turn around, and there's a big cooler full of fucking gallon jugs. And I'm like, oh, shit, all right. So I go over there, and I'm looking, and they have 75 fucking flavors, and they're all printed on the same label, and they just get a little Sharpie, and they just dot it. And I'm like, I can't fucking see. I'm like going through every single jug, looking to see if it's almond. And then this lady with her fucking 18 children show up, and they are just causing a ruckus, getting in the fucking way, knocking shit off shelves. And then the dude, I was like, I don't see the almond, so he immediately turns around to go fill up a new jug of almond. And then different lady walked up to the counter to check us out. And she's like, have you guys been helped yet? And I'm still looking at the teas. I'm like, clearly all my shit's right there. I'm just looking for the almond tea. And the lady behind me, she's like, we're ready to check out. I'm like, oh, well, he's just getting me a jug of almond. It shouldn't be long. And she's like, oh, okay. So I go over there to the counter because I'm like, it's not in this fucking cooler. And I just stand there, and the lady's like, yeah, I mean, we can check out if you want us to. I'm like, hey, bitch, no. Are you in a fucking hurry? You're headed to the... Yeah, this is the joke I said, but it's not going to be good the second time. What are you, headed to the hospital? I don't like it. I need to figure out a different type of joke for it. You're on your way to the funeral, and then you're like, oh, we got time to stop for tea. Let's go in here and get some tea. You're not in a rush, bitch. You're getting tea at the tea shop. My shit's already set out. I got my wallet sitting there. I got my phone sitting there. I got my tea sitting there. I'm just waiting on a fucking jug, bitch. And she was just staring me down. Now, granted, I'm standing there in my work clothes, having just left the landfill, washing out a roll-off container full of pig sand. What is pig sand, you ask? Pig sand is where the bones get all crushed up and all the nutrients go in this pipe and go to whatever the fuck it goes to. Some fucking nutrient pills or something. I don't even know. But all the other bone shit goes into this other crusher, and it's I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I have no idea. But it's sand. It's just pig sand is what I'll call it. It's crushed up pig bone mixed with fucking nasty shit water, because their water treatment facility, like where all the nasty water goes, where whenever they're rinsing the pigs off or whatever the fuck they're doing, all the nastiest fucking water goes down into their drains and goes into this pit, and that's what the guys have been cleaning. And then whenever they got it cleaned, they put all the product, the nasty, not product, waste, into these containers, and that's what I took to the landfill. I took to the landfill the nastiest stuff you could possibly get from the pig plant. It smelled fucking horrible. And I was stepping all around in it. And now I'm walking around HTO with these boots, stinking to high heaven. And this bitch wants to cut in front of me. Hell no. Lick my boot, bitch. Fuck off. Get out of here. I put a little sand in my pocket, and I brought it with me, and I blew it in her face. I said, that's from the pig plant. Whore. Just kidding. It wasn't that big of a deal, actually. In all honesty, it was just, oh, yeah, he's just grabbing a jug. And she said, oh, okay. That's all it was. But I like to make up the story to be a little bit more dramatic. And I think, that is it. Hollywood, here we are. That's me. Call me Hollywood from now on. Then I leave that place. And I go home. And I text my buddy. And he says, I'm on my way over. And he comes over. And then we rewire up my truck. Now, let me tell you about wiring up the truck. I got my fuse box. I got all my little fucking schematics that I tried to explain to him over the phone, which did not go well because I'm not an electrical guy. Somebody told me electricity is like water. It's got to come from somewhere and go to somewhere. So, I don't know. I tried drawing fucking tubes all over a piece of paper with all of my shit, trying to figure out electricity and everything. And my fuse box, I had everything hooked up to the big fucking fuses that are like 30, 40, 50 amp fuses. And turns out, most of the shit in my truck doesn't need to run off of such a big fucking fuse. I'm going to roast my truck if I use those fuses. So me and him sat down. We actually went through and did some digging to figure out what amp fuse goes to what fucking thing. And we went through everything. And we narrowed it down from 10 fuses just for the in-cab materials and the running materials. Basically, all the headlights and outer lighting. Any of the outer lighting, I'm not including on this fuse panel. I'm getting a new fuse panel. It's in the Amazon cart. Whenever I get the clearance, I got to take it to the fucking person and get clearance to buy $33 fucking fuse box. I'm going to have a totally separate fuse box for all the headlights and all that shit. So this fuse box is just going to be running, which I thought was going to be running the starter. No. I thought it was going to be running the alternator. No. It could run the coil. I'm going to go ahead and run the coil off of it. But we narrowed it down to it's going to run the radio, the horn. Eventually it'll run the wipers. Maybe I'll run the wipers off the other panel. I don't know. The coil, the alternator, and the starter are both going to be basically directly hooked up to the battery. And then a cable is going to come from those off of the starter, go into the cab, all the way over to my cutoff switch. My cutoff switch is going to have the radio always on wire because I have to have that. We talked about getting like a little battery pack, because that's going to be drawing so little amount of voltage because you have to have a memory wire. Now, do I need a memory wire? That's what I'm kind of wondering. I don't even think I need the memory wire. You're supposed to have it so if you set your channel settings, you can hit number 1 and it'll go to number 1 channel and 2 to 6 or whatever. But I don't think I'm going to be on the radio all that often. And I'm wondering if I can set the radio to like a certain news channel or whatever, and then cut the power and then turn it back on and see if the radio automatically will go back to that news channel I think that also the memory wire, like if I have it on Bluetooth, every time I turn the truck on, it'll automatically turn on Bluetooth. So I don't know. I don't like having wires hooked up directly to the battery. It could technically create a draw from the battery, and then I go out there and I try to fire up my truck in the mornings, and the battery's going to be dead because it had a load pulling off of it from somewhere. Now the radio, I'm not worried about because it's such a little draw, but having the starter and the alternator hooked up at all times, that kind of freaks me out a little bit. You know, it shouldn't, but I don't know. That's how these trucks were made from the factory, so I guess it'll be fine. Because I was wanting to run basically the power all the way through the system to the fuse box, and then run a power wire from the fuse box that goes down to the starter, and then another one that goes to the alternator, and then another one that goes to the distributor, and then another one that goes to the, well, that's all you need. You need starter, alternator, and distributor. Those are the only electrical components on my engine. So, I don't know. I'm not running all that shit off there now. The coil is going to be the only thing, and it doesn't draw much of a current, so, which is surprising. Kind of. It was surprising to me and my buddy, but neither one of us are mechanics. Now I've hooked up and shit, but it was just like trucks that already had fuse panels. Now I've never done anything like from scratch like I'm doing today. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll work out. And then I'm going to wire everything up laying on the floorboard of my truck, or what floorboard I have, because a lot of it's going to be cut out soon. And just wire everything up. I have 10 switches. I have 10 push button switches, and we had a bear of a time trying to figure out how to make the light come on when there's power going through the switch, because we got it to where the light would always be on. And now I'm kind of second guessing myself. Do I want the light to be on at all times? Or do I want the light to only be on when the button is pressed? Or do I want the light to be on when the button has not been pressed? These are some things I can think about. It makes most sense to have the light come on whenever there's power going through the button. So whenever I click the headlight button, the light will come on. The LED ring around the little push button light. But if I'm driving around in the dark, and I'm like, where the fuck is my headlight switch? It's all the switches feel the exact same. Which one is the one? So yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with all that yet. I'm not even working on the headlights quite yet. But I would like it just a button for headlights, and then a totally separate button. Well, headlights and taillights. So I push that button, and the headlights and taillights come on, and then there's a second button next to it that'll be like my marker lights. So all my marker lights will come on. And then when I hit the blinkers are going to come on. And when I hit the flasher, they're all going to flash. But I don't know. I'm getting... It seems like a simple deal, but it's actually trying to figure out how to wire it up without the proper switches is a pain. But I'm not even worried about those yet. Just get the fucking thing to start up and drive around and the radio to work right now. And then I'll wire up the headlights later on. I also talked about removing the bed, to remove the fuel tanks, to clean up the frame, to replace the shocks, to possibly install traction bars, to run conduit throughout the frame that will protect my wiring very well, so I don't have to run that fucking wire loom shit all the way back. Like that, it doesn't make sense to run that wire loom shit all the way back. Plus, water and stuff will get into that, and then it'll just it's just not good to have your wire sitting in water. So, but I'm thinking about running conduit, and if I can run like conduit up into the cab, and then have it go all the way to the back, and then have it kind of like a toilet, so the smell won't come up. It's got like a little loop. I can do that. So if water does happen to get in there, it's not going to get in very far, and I can put a little hole in the bottom, so it will, or just have it pointed straight down, I guess. Just have it come out and then go down. So if water does splash, it's not going to go up into the conduit, Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Haven't given that too much thought yet, but I think it does sound like a really good idea, because then I can mount the conduit there, and I guess I could like poke a hole in the conduit to where, so because I'm gonna need some wires to come up into the bed. Hit the gas, you whore. I had to make sure I'm going to the right place. With me these days, I need to make sure, double check and triple check what the fuck I'm doing. I'm losing my mind here, y'all. Yes, the truck is. I don't know. I make engine noises when I walk by it. Every day I get home, I walk by it and I touch it and I say, vroom, vroom, I can't wait to fucking drive you. I'm fucking weird like that. But I love this fucking truck. I can't wait to get on it and get going with it. If I get tired of messing with the wiring, because I will, I'm sure, I'm ready to start working on the grill, because I have expanded metal in the garage. It's 50 inches. I need a 50 by 20 piece of expanded metal that I'm going to cut out with the cutoff wheel, and then just bolt. I got all that aluminum, and I'm going to just make little tabs, I guess, that will hold the grill. That'd be kind of cool. And then to take the grill off, it'll be like 6. I don't know. It'd look better with more bolts than 6. 1 on each corner and then 2 in the middle. It'd look better with more than that. So maybe 8 bolts holding it on. And there's really not any reason to need to take the grill out. But just get that put in there and paint the brackets black, but leave the grill kind of rusty looking, and then just mount it up. That'd be kind of cool. And then I have it somewhere, and if I don't have it somewhere, I can make another one. But I had a diamond plate bow tie that I made in high school. I just cut it out. It wasn't anything special, but I cut out this diamond plate bow tie in high school, and I had that mounted on my 78 Chevy truck with the aftermarket grill, and it looked good. So I'm thinking about making that, and then maybe even trying to get some sort of a 350 badge put on the grill also. But then, do I want the grill to be flush with the outside, or do I want it recessed a little bit? I'm thinking recessed a little bit, and then I don't even have to get creative with, or make it the exact right shape. I can just kind of get it wedged in there, and then it'll be in the back, but it'll still hide all of the radiator support and all that shit. So I don't know. Because the 73 grills were like a 2-inch recess into the grill there, and it looks pretty cool. It's like deep well, like a deep well wheel. I got the deep well wheels. I got the deep well grill. You know, it just kind of matches. But I don't want to use an original uh, grill on the truck. I'm really going for this expanded metal. My 78, I ran it with no grill in it for a while, and I thought it looked pretty cool. It looked ratty. So I might do that. Might just run it with no grill, but I need something because I don't want a flying squirrel to jump while I'm passing over it and it to go into my radiator and fuck up my radiator. That wouldn't be cool. Then my radiator, so it's got the trans cooler goes to the radiator, which I didn't. I guess I didn't understand what a trans cooler was. I thought a trans cooler was the transmission fluid went through. Maybe this. I don't know. Everything's in a nice little package with this radiator. The problem is the radiator is not very big at all. It's a very small radiator. It maybe it'd be able to handle like a smaller V6, but with the heavy duty V8, I just don't think this radiator is enough. But it's got the trans cooler just plugs right into this radiator. It's kind of nice. But if I have to run a trans cooler, which I want to, I don't think it's a good idea to not run a trans cooler. I guess if you're not hauling anything, you probably don't need it. And if you're not racing it or anything like that, if you're just driving it, up and down the road. But I'd like to be able to drive my truck and not have to worry about the transmission overheating, because that's a big thing. Whenever you check your transmission fluid, you smell it, and if it smells like it's been burned, that's not good. That means the inside there could be hot spots on some of your clutch packs, or they could just be worn or deteriorated more than normal. You don't want burned transmission fluid. Now, my transmission fluid looked fine when I checked it. When I bought it. I haven't checked it since I bought it. But, yeah, definitely want a trans cooler. I'd like a different radiator. I'd like to get the original radiator mounting bracket, because the radiator mounting bracket that I got now is just a piece of sheet metal somebody bent over. It's kind of nicely made, but there's just so much room inside there that it doesn't look like it's good. It looks like somebody was like, the radiator got busted. All right, here's a radiator out of my Honda Civic. Just put this in there. We're just driving down in the pasture. Yeah, I've known some people move the radiator to the bed of the truck, which would be kind of cool. Kind of. It would look odd. But if I had my radiator in the bed next to my fuel cell, that would look kind of cool. But then I don't want to run coolant lines all the way back there. Like that's not something I want to do. I'd rather just have a nice beefy aluminum radiator up there at the front. And it would be kind of cool if it was all silver. So whenever you look through the grill of it, you can see the silver radiator, and then paint the radiator, or the radiator all the brackets black, make it look kind of nice. And then even some people put like a stencil over the radiator, and they paint like a JDM stuff or something on there. If I had a turbo, I could turbo this truck. Turboing a carburetor just doesn't seem like a good idea, though. It just does not seem like something you should do. But you could do it. It's way better with either EFI or just straight up fuel injection. That would work out way better. I'm not going to turbo it. Now, the only thing I may do and this would be down in the future. Later on, maybe I'd have to have a spare engine ready to go. Is to tap in a little nitrous kit, because apparently they sell nitrous at like smoke shops that they can. I don't know why, but they sell some sort of a nitrous. It's the same nitrous oxide. It's just got flavor in it or something. And I could get a bottle of that and just run a tube and then just tap it into my whatever, my carb somehow, or my air filter, and then just open the bottle, or have like a little push button or like a little lever or something, just psh, psh. Now an electronically controlled one is better, and you have the right jets and everything, but just tapping it in there, and you just have like a little valve right here, and you just more or less. That would be kind of cool to have nitrous on my fucking truck. That would be fucking cool. That would be really fucking cool. Some fucking hot rod sitting next to me, and I just nitrous fucking. I wouldn't beat anybody. It's still a slow ass truck, but they'd be like, "Damn, that's a lot faster than I thought it was." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a fucking Edinburgh Performer intake is what did it." Just kidding. It's not. It's this fruity nitrous from the smoke shop. Because I was looking at regular nitrous bottles, and I don't think they're that much to fill up, but they are expensive to buy. And it's like, why does it have to be? I could use a medical grade one. Like, does anybody have a fucking nitrous bottle I can buy, like a 10-pound bottle? Please? Please? Alright, you guys can send that to me at P.O. Box 789-4546. Send me a nitrous bottle. Please, help me out. I need it. Just kidding. I'm never going to ask you guys for anything. Today, so I'm headed over to the landfill now, fully loaded. I'm looking in my mirror. It looks like I still have some tire pressure. My tire's not squatting horribly. Let me run that mirror down. Check it out a little bit. Yeah, it looks good. Oh no, my mirror's stuck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, my mirror's messed up. Oh no. Oh man. Well, I can see kind of. I got the electronic mirrors on this Kenworth here, and I pointed it too far down apparently, and now it's like stuck pointing down and in. Getting backed into where I needed to get loaded today was not a good idea. I should have just backed in from the main road, because getting down there, every single bay was filled except for the one that I needed, which isn't even a bay. It's just like a little area, and there's not much room to do a UE down there at all, especially with a full-length semi. But I did about a 7-point turn, and instead of doing a quarter turn and getting backed into where I needed to be, I did a full 180, and then just headed back out towards the road, and then backed in all the way, because it was not looking good. But I got in, got right to where I needed to be, got my hose hooked up, and then the dude, this place is pretty cool because they have an actual gallon meter on the deal, so it's an electronically ran deal, so I don't just look at my gauge and kind of guess at where I'm at. It's actually metered, so they're like, we're going to load you up with 4,200 gallons today, that's all we really have. I said, okay, cool. And then they plug it in, and then I plug in my hose, they open up the valve, and they hit start, and then I turn on my vacuum, and then it will pull, and then once it hits 4,200, it'll shut the valve at the place, and we're good. Now, everything went well. It only, yeah, not like I said, because like I said in my last episode that I didn't record all the way. This fucking Lincoln, I don't like you, Lincoln. I got over to let you on the highway, and then you're riding on the yellow, the white line. Stay in your lane. I let you on the highway, you fucking dumb fuck. And I'm going so slow up this hill. Man, I wish my mirror would work. Yeah, so then I got loaded, everything was done, and then he's like, okay, I just need to turn these little valves, and that should clear the line. And they had plugs in them, you know, because I leave my vacuum pump running, and then he opens up these little valves, and it'll suck air, and it will let the line clear out. And he opens up the valves, but there's still plugs in there, and he's like, all right, you should be good. And I grab my hose, and I'm like, no. This hose is still completely full of waste. He's like, no, it's good. I'm like, dude, no, it's not. This is really heavy. This is full of waste. If I crack that valve, this shit's going fucking everywhere. He's like, well, I did the bleed off deal. I'm like, yeah, that bleed off deal ain't right. You got to take the plugs out. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, yeah, you do. You should be able to hear air rushing through the little 1-inch ball valve. And then and then the hose is going to jump, and then I close my valve, and then you can close your valve, and then I can unhook the hose. And this dude just did not, he did not want to believe me, and then I got it to where he called the other dude that knew what was going on out there, and the other dude came out there with the wrench and unscrewed the fucking cap, and then undid it, and it worked. And I was like, yeah, okay, I knew that was going to work. And then I was a little worried because if I don't leave vacuum on this tanker, where the gauge is, the little needle gauge that's hooked to the float will bleed by. It'll leak water, and I didn't want that to happen on their property. So, and I had given them my paperwork whenever I got there. I said, here's the paperwork. You guys usually like to, after I get loaded, I get this filled out, and then you like to get a copy of it. And he's like, okay, I'll take it. And he took it, and then he left. And after I'm loaded, I'm like, where's the paperwork? And they're like, you have it. I'm like, no, I gave it to what's his name. And they're like, where's what's his name? I'm like, I don't know. I'm asking you guys. You guys, I don't work here. And it was like a 10-minute ordeal trying to get that fucking paperwork, but I finally got it. And then I left. And that's when I stopped and I got air for my tire. And then also, so like I have this engine coolant fault that keeps popping up on my dash. I'm surprised it came on once, and it's just been there. Usually, earlier it was just dinging a bunch. But yeah, my coolant's at 183 degrees. My oil temp's at 230. I'm good. And this is a nicer tanker, and I'm holding vacuum on it, so it's not nothing's leaking or anything. I'm gonna get to the landfill here, and I'm gonna dump all this shit out. They hauled some sort of a green dye with this trailer, and I'm guessing whenever I offload, it's gonna be bright green still, because every load that we've ran through this tanker has, whenever it comes out, it's either bright green or like yellow or something. And it's freaked out all the disposal facilities. And it's like, no, it's just like some dye stuff that was in the tank beforehand. And I don't know. We need to take this tanker to a cleaners, to the tank cleaner, and have it actually scrubbed out. Because I got held up at one of our disposal places because they wanted to do extra testing on the liquid. I'm like, dude, this is straight water. And they're like, that is straight coolant. I'm like, that is not coolant. That is water. And they did testing. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's just water. I'm like, yeah, you fucks believe me. Oh, boy. The dude that used to work at the landfill, I talked about him on a different podcast that he was leaving. All he's got to do is sit there and drive a rock truck. He shows up, he hops in a rock truck, which is a big dumpster, or not dumpster, a big dump truck that it bends in half. I don't know. They call them rock trucks. Giant fucking truck. And they just scoop the shit out of their liquid pit and they dump it into the bed of that rock truck. And all that dude does all day is just drive from there to down at the bottom of the hill at the bottom of the face of the landfill. And he drives up and back all day long. That's all he's got to do. And it's not all the time either. It's just whenever the pits get full. So other than that, he's sitting there playing on his phone. And they told me that job starts out at $26 an hour. And after 60, 90, whatever days, you get a raise. And that dude is making almost $30 an hour. And he most of his day is sitting there playing on his phone or driving up and down a hill. And I'm like, that's a fucking sick ass job. But the dude, he quit. I was like, you're quitting? Don't be fucking queer. And he wanted to go back work for the city, which does not sound like a fun time at all. But and he was like, yeah, my last day's Friday, which was supposed to be today. His last day was fucking Monday because he never showed back up. He just left. And it really put these guys into they had problems. Because they needed somebody to run the dump truck. Instead of the guy load it and then, I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal for him to do both jobs, but you know, easier the better. My seatbelt is a piece of shit. Come on, you fuckheads. There we go. I pulled out in front of some people, but they're turning. Little bitches. They're turning. That guy's leaking. I'm not leaking. It would be kind of funny if I was leaking. Hey, there's one of our guzzlers up here, ready to offload. I gotta call him. Okay, I had to call him because I thought he's got a guzzler and he's got a hose hanging off the back of it and he's on the scale, and I was like, that looks a little weird. I wonder if he knows that he is dragging a hose behind him. But turns out they're at the landfill. They are actually cleaning the scale, which is interesting. So that's fun. Oh man! So now that means they only have 2 scales that I'm allowed to go on, and they are occupying one of them to clean it. So that means I have to sit here and wait for the one scale to be opened up. Now these guys should be in and out pretty quick. I got Atomic Transport. There's like a substation for trash. So a lot of trash trucks dump trash at the substation because you're not allowed to have a landfill in this city or whatever, because it's kind of hard to get a landfill. But a substation, just where they temporarily keep trash, which is no better than a fucking landfill because there's still trash blowing everywhere. They have a substation, and then so they dump all the trash there, and then they load it into these dry van trailers. Not dry van. It's a tarp top fleet side fucking trailer. I don't fucking know what you call it. And then they bring it out here, and then they dump it on the tipper. So those guys are in and out of here just like trash trucks. So they just have to talk to people on the speaker. And then there's another trash truck. He's just got to talk to somebody on the speaker. And then the guy in front of me just has some tires. Looks like he's going to go in here and replace some tires on somebody's truck. So I should be at the scale here shortly. And I've been recording for 50 some minutes. So keep all 18 down. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.